We're not the starters. We're not even the backups. This is the Third Stringers Podcast.
Welcome back to the Third Stringers Podcast. Oh, what a week in sports. Embiid wins MVP. We got the Warriors pulling off playoff dreams again. We got the NFL draft reactions, my reactions to the Steelers picks, and more. Let's get going.
First things first. First things first.
First things first, we got to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, the hurt one. Embiid wins MVP for the first time in however many years that we think that he probably should have, but didn't. And he finally was able to pull it off. The voters gave it to him, right? He had an amazing season, probably his best one yet, to be honest with you. With the help of James Harden at the point. I forgot to introduce my fellow podcast members here, like always. It always happens every single time, all right?
We'll get there.
We got Justin here. We got Paige here again. Ooh. I apologize, guys. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Couldn't be better.
With Embiid winning, I understand the excitement and going over us. That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So we gotta break it down. Embiid gets the first place votes, right? He's the MVP. Jokic second, Giannis third. We think that's fair. I think it's about right.
You're frozen, bro.
You're right.
We're good.
Keep pushing through.
We'll push through. Okay, so you said Embiid first, Jokic second, Giannis third. I think that's fair. I think Jokic and Embiid were the back and forth 1-2 throughout the whole season. We talked about it in an earlier podcast how I personally thought Jokic should win. I get it. Embiid is playing at the highest level he has, and he's 6-7 years into this now. So I get it. It's not like he doesn't deserve it. I still think Jokic probably should have. I do think he's a better complete player, but Embiid's got the scoring. He's got the kind of next level dominance that you would see like Shaq or Yao Ming have. Like Jokic isn't dominating people that like Embiid is. So I'm not mad at it. I think he deserved it. He's a great player. He's a generational player. He's one of the best scoring centers, probably the best scoring center of all time. Besides, I guess, Kareem, if you want to say that, but give Embiid time and he'll get there too. So that's my take on it. I'm happy he won it.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I think it's just crazy that, you have these dominant centers and forwards that, those three have been in the running for MVPs the past, 4 years? No guards. It's just how the game has developed even in the past 5 years, just awesome. And, Joel, so just some stats. So this season alone, he put up 2,251 points. So this is all per Synergy Sports for our listeners. If you think these numbers are I'm just making up these numbers. He shot, so as a spot up shooter, he was in the 84th percentile. He shot 70% at the rim, which ranks in the 88th percentile. Off catch and shoot 3-pointers, he was 42%, which for a center, that's awesome. But on the season, he averaged 33 points, 10.2 rebounds, 4.2 assists, shot 56% from the field, 33% from downtown, and from the free throw line, almost 86%.
That's impressive, too.
That's impressive for a center.
Yeah. And, his whole time in the league, he's averaged almost 80% from the charity stripe, which is awesome. So, yeah, I think it's well-deserved. He was my pick for MVP, so.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that until you brought it up that there's really no guards at the top. It's either center or a power forward that is built like a center. And it's truly remarkable. The game's shifting again because it was a guard-driven league. And to a sense, it still kind of is. The experienced players are still mostly guards or like to bring the ball up themselves. But I think the power is starting to shift again. Because, even Tatum was up there. Luka's not a traditional point guard per se.
I guess Steph was up
And
there too. For like a little bit.
His injuries are
Yeah.
limiting him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But it's definitely starting to shift again, and we're gonna have more big men coming into the league and dominating again. It's very interesting to see the shift every once in a while.
And it's like all these big men, like they pass. Like that was never ever a thing. Like, you know, if you were the tall guy on your team, oh, you're gonna like be the guy that's back to the basket. Like that's your job. Now it's like, oh, they can do everything, and it's just like you want to play with that guy, like you want to be on their team rather than, you know, no spacing, like you have no room to do anything, which I think like for like the kids like coming up, like they see that and like they want to play like that because they know eventually they're gonna have to like be good at everything.
Yeah, we got a nice balance too. Like Embiid's a scorer, Jokic is a passer. Like it's not one type of play. Giannis is, you know, a driver to the basket. It's all different types of play, but they're all big guys.
Yeah. I mean, and back to the early days of basketball, you wanted the biggest guy on the court just for the height advantage. Then it shifted to the guard centric. You get Magic and all those guys who can make plays. And then it kind of went back to the bigs for a second where it was like a stretch four. And then that lasted for a full minute. And everyone was like, wait a minute, let's just take 30-foot jumpers and make threes. So then Steph and Dame and all them. And now the big guys are like, wait, I can do that too. So now it's kind of going back to you get the 7-footer that can potentially shoot a three and bring the ball up the court. Why wouldn't you want that on your team? That's the ideal basketball player. So See,
but where does Ben Simmons fit now, right?
Ben Simmons is checked out.
He's the opposite. He's the opposite. He's a big guy that can't shoot at all.
He is mentally checked out. If he wants to play in the NBA, he needs to be like invested again, I guess. Like he seems so out of it that it's just he needs to be done.
The thing is, he has no trade value, really. Like, what team would want to like pick up his, you know, awful contract and like take up their salary space and everything? And like, I think the Nets might trade Mikal Bridges. Since Dillon Brooks is gone, I could see the Grizzlies trying to go after him. I think they offered him like 5 first-round picks. Like, and then Ben might. I don't know. It's a whole mess.
Wow. Yeah. I would not trade Mikal Bridges. I would build around that guy. So I don't see that. I don't know. If someone's willing to give that up, make it the Pistons. Come on.
Make it the Pistons.
Well,
oh my God.
They need a star.
They want Victor Wembanyama.
You're right.
Yeah, they're not going to get him though. It's just their luck.
Then trade 5.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
All right, let's roll into the rest of the playoffs. Where do we start? Let's start with the Suns. All right. I know Paige wants to comment. So Paige, I'll let you have the floor here.
You know, so I'll start with the good stuff that I've seen so far. So I like our defensive intensity. I think we've really picked it up a notch. Kevin Durant, I mean, he's been doing everything. DeAndre Ayton, you know, seems like he doesn't want to grab a rebound. I mean, he just stands there and like in an interview today, someone asked him like, "Oh, like what were you doing like when Jokic was like getting those offensive rebounds like on the glass and like Kevin Durant was like trying to stop him?" And he's like, "I didn't know what to do." Like, what? You're having the guy you just paid a max contract say that in a playoff game?
Yeah, that's rough.
Like like, so obviously we're not there. Like, I don't think we really know what's all on the line here. Like, I think we just think the Nuggets were going to be a walk in the park, and like, I don't think we're really playing them well. They don't have a guy that can really protect the basket. Jokic is not athletic, you know, besides the fact that he's an amazing player, right? Like, he's not going to block shots. He's not going to, he's not a force at the rim, right? So I would like to see Devin Booker drive more because he's capable. Kevin Durant, kind of. I mean, he's not typically going to do that, but, like, if that's the weakness, that needs to be the game plan. So I don't know what Monty's game plan is. I mean, his rotations have been not good at all. At all. And, like, Terrence Ross should be playing. TJ Warren should be playing. Chris Paul's hurt, so that is not the best look for us. I think he's day-to-day right now. But then we have Cam Payne, and my favorite, Landry Shamet.
Yeah. Woo!
And that just goes to show, like, we have no bench. The Nuggets are stacked on their bench. I mean, you got Christian Brown, which is I think he's like the last rookie, like in the playoffs. Like he doesn't contribute that much on the offensive end, but like he's been key for the Nuggets on the defensive end. I think he's gotten like 5 steals like within the series. And like I know when he's been guarding KD, he took like 2 charges, like, and KD's been shooting not the best. And I don't think he'll shoot that bad again. I don't know. I think we win Friday, but this game, like this series, definitely goes to 7 games for sure.
See, how I see this is just another mark on Kevin Durant's legacy. Reason being, right? He had that amazing series versus the Bucks. You know, if he has one shoe size smaller, they're probably going to the championship that year, right? Then last year he was abysmal in the playoffs against the Celtics. Like played horribly after game 1 and just couldn't make shots. He shot pretty well first game, but again, game 2 comes around, he's not shooting all that great. So if he doesn't step up, is he just going to be another regular season guy that scores a lot of points, gets to the playoffs, and it's just not the same. It's not the same Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I think, well, first addressing the Suns as just a whole, they're the epitome of
weird.
Just try to buy a team real fast and go for it in one season, which is fine. They can do that, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But then you have the Nuggets, who their 2-star players of Jokic and Jamal have been there the past 4 or 5 years, and like they have a solid core and foundation to build off of, and that's why they have the deep bench and they have 2 stars and a deep bench. Like you're set. You can go pretty far in the playoffs with that. As for Kevin Durant, he is just an interesting human being. First of all, his feet ginormously large and disgusting. So yes, one size smaller, he would have been they would have won the series that year. For his legacy, I guess, yes, he's known to switch teams when he can. He's one of the most elite scorers of our generation, at least, maybe of all time. To say he's kind of just one of those like regular seasons guys, to me, it doesn't feel right, because he had such a great run with the Thunder, such a great run with the Warriors, which obviously he had amazing talent around him there. The Nets was kind of a failed experiment with the James Harden, Ben Simmons, then Kyrie fiasco. And now with the Suns, I feel like we need to give him at least another year to like gather the team together and get everything moving in the right direction. So I'd still give him a year on this one. I would say the Nets was a failure, but he could still turn it around with the Suns and keep his legacy, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely didn't mean to bring up like the chemistry needs to be built as well.
Yeah, no.
Like I mean, I've said that originally, like when they made the trade.
Yeah, for sure.
I said it's not going to be this year. Yeah, it'll be next year if it's going to be any year. Just because have they even played 10 games together yet?
I don't even know.
Close. It's close.
Yeah,
it's close.
I think they're like 13. Like
and now Chris Paul's down, so it's like.
And like I think like a lot of people thought like it would be Kevin Durant's team, and it should be, right? But like Booker's been like on another level in the playoffs, which I don't think people really expected. Like he would just be like the 2 guy. Or like 1B, And I don't really think Monty necessarily knows how to play them together. And like it comes back, like we gave up so much for him. We don't have like a guy that can come off the bench and give us like 20 easy a night. The Nuggets have that, which is ultimately hurts us. I think last game we only had 6 bench points.
Yeah, that's rough.
And then combined with with our awful shooting, DeAndre Ayton just settling for floaters. Like that is his game, but like I want him to like go on the post and just like post up, and like fight. Like he doesn't show any like emotion. Like he just stands around, which drives me insane. But I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be like we're gonna have to win Friday, or like I think it could get ugly for sure.
Yep, it's a must win at this point.
Yeah.
Basically every game now. It's a must win.
Yes.
Heartbreaking, Paige. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I think we still win
Our-
in 7, but I just say that.
Ooh, really?
Nuggets and
Woo!
5.
Look at the Warriors. They were down 2-0. They came back.
The Nuggets
Possible.
are gonna win it all, so that's my take. So the Suns just kind of
Okay.
got unlucky in this scenario.
All right, we're gonna roll on to my devastating performance, but
Yours?
yes, my team's the devastating performance.
Oh.
The Kings. So I called it right. The experience was gonna prevail for the Warriors. It happened. It was a horrible scene though when they go into the fourth quarter. Right, the game's close. It's like a 5-point game. Right. Kings score 4 points in the first 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. Like, that is devastating for a team that was the best offensively all season, and they score 4 points in 6 minutes. It killed it. The energy left the stadium. Nobody was hyped after that. People started leaving, and Warriors just ran it back home. And it was a good season, though. I'm not mad about the season. I didn't expect much going into the playoffs against the Warriors, so it was a thrilling series, and it was a lot of fun, and they have a bright future. That is my speech on the Kings.
Your closure. No, that was a great series, and I think we both said it before. The Warriors, we have Steph Curry in a Game 7. That's a good bet to take. So Kings will come back next year. Depending on who they play in the playoffs, they might not have to face Steph Curry first round, and that'd be good.
Hopefully.
I think it's going to be a fun, if they keep battling like this and the teams still stay somewhat the same. It'll be a fun rivalry to start forming, so that'll be exciting as well. But no, now the Warriors moving on to the Lakers. Lakers take the first. That kind of shocked me. I don't know why it shocked me. But I was watching some of the game.
Told you guys.
I was watching some of the gameplay, and Anthony Davis was really the difference maker. That's really what it came down to. And as long as he stays at this level, stays healthy, I could see them beating the Warriors.
It's gonna take that from one of the two every single night, though. Like, it's gonna take just an amazing performance. I'm assuming I'm coming out robotic again.
A little bit. You're just frozen, so that's you're talking, but you're not.
He's giving us a death stare right now.
See, what's crazy is I can see you guys perfectly. It's not reciprocated. But no, back to it. It's going to take an astronomical performance from LeBron or Anthony Davis every night, which can happen. I just don't think it will.
Yeah.
So I'm going to disagree. If Anthony Davis plays like that, he's the best player in the NBA. 30 points, 20 rebounds. No, I'm serious. Like, he's up there. Like, injuries aside, say, like, he wasn't, like, getting hurt all the time and, like, in, like, a perfect career, right?
Yeah.
He would for sure be up there,
Yeah,
like,
you're
with
right.
MVP
You're
and stuff. And, like, I have the Lakers winning the series, but I think it's going to go 7 again. I don't think Jordan Poole is going to shoot as good as he did. He was 6 for 11 on three-pointers last game. I don't think that's going to happen again. It could. I don't think so. I think he's been, like, all over the place in the playoffs, so I wouldn't, like, count on it 2 times in a row. Maybe he comes back game 3 and does that. But one thing I think Draymond was telling, or, like, in a post-game interview, the Warriors were kind of, like, confused at first because LeBron was playing so much on ball. Because in the regular season, he wasn't doing that. He was kind of, getting ready for, like, playoff LeBron, like, the minutes and, like, how much usage he was going to get on ball. Because he was initiating everything. And, like, once he does that and, like, lets Anthony Davis cook, they're a really hard team to beat. So,
Absolutely.
And, like, Kevon Looney, I mean, he was awesome in the Kings series. He was crazy. I mean, like, and that just, going back to that game, it kind of goes back to, like, the Kings don't really have a guy that can grab rebounds. So like in the draft, I think they'll probably go for a guy that can do that. Which I mean, that could be super scary for them next year for sure. But I had the Lakers in 7. I think they win today too. Honestly.
Wow.
I could see it.
I don't. So what we saw from the Warriors in the Kings series, right? They lost those first 2. Steve Kerr made adjustments. He's very good at it. He's a good coach. I understand he's got great talent, and people like to diminish what he's done, but he is also a very good coach that is able to build the teams around the core 3. So I think he'll make adjustments. I think they win game 2, but it's going to go long. It's going to be a long series. As long as they can find someone that can at least slow down Anthony Davis, it's going to help. They can't put Kevon Looney on him because Kevon Looney's too slow. Anthony Davis is much quicker, and I think they're going to need to put Draymond on him and go small ball, which again they can. Yeah, they can do.
Rough too. Ugh, I don't like that.
See, Draymond can guard Anthony Davis. Wiggins can guard LeBron. That's the way you got to do it. Like it has to be those 2 guys. Gary Payton can play well enough on the defensive end against D'Angelo Russell. When the other 2 are out, but it's going to be interesting, right? It's going to be interesting to see what adjustments they make tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of a battle between like positional size and like shooting, which is like super fun to watch because it could go like either way. I think each game like will go down to like the last minute each time.
I could see that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But shout out to the Lakers for making an insane trade deadline moves.
Yeah.
And going younger and just forming a nice core around them. They're the winningest team in the NBA right now after the trade deadline.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Go Rob Pelinka.
It's pretty remarkable. Big moves, and honestly, you could see them doing very well this year too.
Definitely.
So.
All right. Oh, but
wait, no, question for you guys. So whoever wins the series, LeBron and Steph, say if they go to the finals and win, who has the better legacy?
I mean, right now Steph is 3-1 against LeBron. So if he wins again, player against player, Steph obviously hasn't beat. I think if LeBron wins MVP or wins championship and gets finals MVP, he's going to be considered the GOAT.
Yeah.
Or a much stronger, like he's already got the scoring. He's got a few rings under the belt. He's got a few MVPs. He gets this. Yeah. It's like seals the deal. If Steph wins, he needs to get up in scoring, which I think he can do if he keeps scoring at the pace that he scores and stays healthy. So it'll be interesting. And then it'll come down to, Steph beat him 4 of the 5 times they met in the playoffs. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens to that. I think everyone will point to LeBron being the better overall player like they do in the Michael Jordan comparisons. But if Steph's shooting, 60% from 3 and has the most threes and has more wins against them and the same amount of rings and all that stuff, it'll be up for debate. I think he'll be up there for sure.
Yeah,
see, I don't think it will. I don't think it will.
Really?
It doesn't matter if Curry wins 3 more rings. LeBron will still be seen.
No,
I'm serious. LeBron will still be viewed as the better overall player. If you look at like the Mount Rushmore of basketball, right? You got Jordan, you got LeBron. If Curry wins like 3 more rings, it doesn't matter. He will not be up there.
He won't be up in the top 4?
Nope.
If he wins 3 more rings, I would put him above, and he gets close to or above Kobe's scoring. If he's close to or above Kobe's scoring and he gets 3 more rings, I would say he's better than Kobe.
Like, are you saying like legacy
let's
or like
go.
player wise?
I'm just saying as a whole, like in the view of basketball as a whole.
You're saying he won't be top 4? Who's the
He
other?
has 7 rings.
LeBron, Michael Jordan, Kobe. Who else would be there instead of
Bill Russell?
No. I'm sorry, no. If Steph wins
won,
3
like-
more rings, he's above.
Oh no. I'm saying like right now.
Oh, I'm saying
Like,
if Steph wins.
before he did that.
Gotcha.
Oh no, Steph should. Okay, if any player had 7 rings, they gotta be.
What a conversation we've gone into. Okay, so now I have a question for you guys. Who's in your guys' Mount Rushmore then? It's got to be Jordan and LeBron.
Jordan, LeBron, Kobe,
Mm-hmm.
and then I am between Shaq and Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant
Yeah.
wins a couple more, I'd probably put him above Shaq. I'm not.
You guys wouldn't put Kareem?
I'm not putting Kareem up there. First of all,
I am.
First of all,
You need to clip that too.
he
People are gonna come
not
for your
not top
guys'
4. He's definitely
heads.
top 10. He's definitely top 10. But top 4, no. He was playing when television was black and white. You can't count that today. You can't do that.
So
Magic and Bird are up in top 10, but I don't think they crack top 4. I don't think either of them would beat Kevin Durant in a series.
I have Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, and Bill Russell.
You're smoking.
Kobe had a close 5.
Kobe against Bill. Kobe wins in a sweep.
yeah, but like Bill, he has 11 titles. Like
He
as a
played
player, a coach.
20 games a season. Like he did.
I know. No. Yeah.
They had 8 teams in the NBA back then. What are we talking about?
No. So I think so. I'm gonna say like Mount Rushmore of like our generation. Like I
Our
would
generation,
say,
Curry up there.
yeah, I would have. I don't know.
If it's
Oh.
our generation,
Oh.
Oh,
Tim Duncan.
Kobe over Tim
I would have
I
Tim
would also say
Duncan,
Kobe over
Kobe, Steph, and LeBron.
of our generation. Okay.
Yeah.
I put Giannis over Tim
Oh.
Duncan. I put Kevin
Oh,
Durant over.
Okay. Okay.
I think you guys
Oh,
need
wait,
to
wait, wait.
reconsider your lists and come back next week.
All right. Wait. Hold on. We gotta get into this. Okay. Our generation. I'd probably go LeBron. No.
Your
And now I got
face.
LeBron, Durant, Curry, and Shaq.
You put-
Wait, does Kobe count?
I would say Kobe counts more than Shaq.
Okay, no. Hold on. LeBron, Curry, Kobe, and Shaq.
I'm not mad at that.
Why would you not do any of like? You wouldn't do like Tony Parker or like Ginobili. They won 3 titles.
Not over Shaq, Kobe, LeBron, and Curry.
That's fair.
Curry's got 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have Curry in mind.
I think we should come back next week with our
right.
updated top. We'll do
That's
top
fair.
5s
That's fair.
of
Okay.
all time and current generation. And,
All right, we'll do a top 5 list, and we'll just pick them. And we'll go.
And
That's
just
fine.
to make it clear right now, mine will almost be identical, but we're good.
Okay.
I don't think any of us are going to end up changing our minds.
No, but we'll have time to think about it more. That's all
Yeah.
that matters.
And just think how wrong we are.
All right. We got more NBA games to talk about. Let's talk about Boston, Philly. Philly upsetting Boston. And then Boston comes back and obliterates them with Embiid on the floor. So, what are we thinking here? Which one was the real Boston team?
They've been so up and down this season. Like they can be the best team in the NBA, but they can almost be like the worst. Like it gets that ugly. But I mean, James Harden was phenomenal in game 1. Like 45 points. Tyrese Maxey also stepped up. I think he's a really, really good player. I think he gets kind of like head sometimes about like, when you have Embiid on the floor and like they even won without Embiid. Like I thought the Celtics were gonna like run past them in that game, but then they come back with Embiid and like kill them. So it's kind of like I think this like series goes to game 7 too, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the 76ers play better when one of their 2 stars is gone. Embiid plays better when Harden's out, which naturally just makes sense. He'll have the ball more. But I think that's really what it comes down to. The first game, Embiid's out. They're thinking we got to step it up. James Harden goes off for 45, which at any given night I think he can do. I still think he has it in him to do that every single night. But over the last 3-4 years, he's had all the critics in his ears saying, well, you can't play with another star. You can't pass. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't be the facilitator. So he's doing 25 and 10 assists or whatever it is. So I think when Embiid's gone, he's stepping up to 50, still playing well with the team that he kind of is the point guard leader for, and they can get it done if Celtics are having a bad night. I don't think the Celtics will have as bad of a night as they did the first game. I think they're more like the second game overall. I think they're a better team more than they are a bad team. It just comes down to can Embiid and Harden score 30 points both and have someone to support them and limit one of the Jasons. Jason Tatum and
Jalen,
not Jason. Jalen. I'm like, that's not his name. They have to limit Jalen or Jason to not scoring 30 or however many. And then I think the 76ers can win.
Okay, so I think it's more about how the Celtics did. I think they went into game one, they saw Embiid wasn't playing. And in the first half, they kind of let the 76ers hang around. They didn't really think that it was going to be a game. And then they let James Harden get hot, and he just went off.
Yeah.
And then I think yesterday, it was more about like coming back and saying, no, we're easily the better team here, and just punching them in the mouth. And Embiid's getting his legs under him. I don't think it's anything on how Embiid played. I think he was getting his legs back, and he'll be fine. It's going to be somewhere in the middle. Yes, you're right, but I think it's closer to the Boston team that we saw in game 2. And I think Boston wins the series and could go 7, might go 6.
So, you said 7 or 6.
Yep.
Yeah. So Embiid he's getting his feet underneath him, obviously, but he only scored 15 points. He's for sure going to score more than that against the Celtics team. So in the 4 games this season they've played each other, he scored almost 37 points. So, if you get that production out of Embiid, going back to the regular season, I think the 76ers win the series. I think they have to win the series.
I agree. I think Embiid needs it, but I don't know if it's going to happen. It's going to go down to game 6 or 7, probably game 7, and hopefully everyone stays healthy and it's a good series. It would suck if Embiid doesn't play a couple more games, and then everyone's like, oh, well, they could have, and it's like, I don't want to hear that anymore. I don't want to hear
But they didn't.
Yeah. So it'll be a fun series.
And Doc Rivers needs to win.
Yeah, he definitely does. I think if the 76ers lose again, I think Harden's gone. And I think they start more or less reload around Embiid and Maxey, and just kind of get younger players in there and try again.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Knicks and the Heat.
Woo.
The most defensive, most 80s game ever. Just the most 80s series ever. Just pure defense. Pure defense and lack of shooting.
You love to see it.
So let's talk about the stars on these teams, okay? Excluding Jalen Brunson because he's been playing this entire time. But Julius Randle doesn't play game 1, Heat win. Jimmy Butler doesn't play game 2, Knicks win. But they're all close games. So, I think this speaks more about each other's, both of their teams and just both of the coaches themselves, just being able to rally everybody around them. Heat were playing without Tyler Hero and Jimmy Butler. The Knicks were playing without Julius Randle, who was their top scorer the entire season. I think it's just more about the team atmosphere on both these teams. And I truly don't think it matters who you put out on the court.
Interesting. I somewhat agree. I think as a whole, the Knicks are a better team, I guess. They've looked better throughout the entire season. They have Brunson for scoring that kind of supplements more than what Jimmy gets on his team. Julius Randle kind of matches the big man scorer that they want Bam to be, which he kind of is, but not really. If Jimmy's on the floor, he doesn't really need to be. So the Knicks overall are a better team. I think the Heat need Jimmy in order to win the series. Like, Jimmy needs to come back and play his ass off. I think the Knicks can do it without Julius Randle as long as someone on the Heat doesn't have a good night. As long as someone on the Heat is not getting the points that they need to produce for that one night, the Knicks can pull it off. The Heat need everyone to be on their A game and the Knicks to have an off night. It's kind of they have the double-edged sword, whereas the Knicks only need one thing to happen for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Knicks, like, they have so many different pieces. And, like, say, like, Julius Randle, he was out for game one. Like, it hurt them, right? But it wasn't, like, devastating blow. Like, not everyone thought they were going to immediately lose, like, the Heat. So, like, the Heat, they do have to have everyone kind of, like, on their A game. You know, a key player for them is Gabe Vincent. I mean, he comes in, I think he's averaging, like, 13 or more points. Like, they need that, especially with Jimmy. I think he's probably gonna play today, right? Next game.
I hope so.
I would imagine he plays Saturday.
Yeah, I don't see him not playing. And if he does, then I don't know. But I think, like, Eric Spoelstra, I think that he could keep the Heat in it if Jimmy does decide to miss another game. I think the Knicks, I mean, they're looking good. I mean, Josh Hart, what a great pickup at the trade deadline. He's been phenomenal.
Fantastic pickup.
He has been a great rebounder. I think he had a triple-double in game 2 or close to it. Like,
that's amazing.
And you wouldn't expect that from him. I mean, you expect him to rebound and score, right? But, like, he's not, like, the biggest playmaker. And, like, Julius Randle, he had 8 assists in game 2. Like, so many players are, like, contributing in, like, every single way with, like, the Heat. You know, Bam passes, he scores. You know, you got Tyler Hero out, which, you know, was a big-time contributor on the offensive end. You got Victor Oladipo. That might have been his last game in the NBA. Who knows? Right?
True.
And then Max Strus, he had to, like, leave a little bit during the game, and then he came back. Yeah. Like, who knows what's happening to him? And then Duncan Robinson, like, another guy you rely on to come in, like, off the bench and get a bucket. Like he hit that good, like, that knockdown three-pointer to, like, almost send it into, or, like, they were down by, like, 2, I think.
Yeah, 2.
At the end of the fourth. But, like, you know, that's his job, and he's not consistent. So I think it really depends on Jimmy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bet against Jimmy, though.
Everybody kind of knows their role on both these teams.
Yeah.
Like, they all work very well together. They have built a lot of chemistry, and they just know how to play with each other. And it's with the Heat, it's just next man up mentality, and everybody kind of buys into that. And the Knicks, on the same side of that, they all know their role, they all know how to play defense, and they all know how to pass the ball. It's truly amazing to watch. It's fun to watch. It's because, like, some of those defensive games, like, you know, when nobody's hitting shots, it's kind of boring. It's not real. It's not like that.
Yeah. I would, like, describe it as, like, pretty. Like, you enjoy like watching it.
It's
like
San Antonio back in 2010 or whatever. It's just good looking basketball. Nothing too crazy. Not a huge star takeover where they need to score 60 to win. It's just good basketball, which is fun. I mean, it's not the most exciting thing for sure, but it's an interesting series, and I'm excited to see who comes out of it and who they'll be playing and how they do it, how the matchup turns out. Because I can't imagine either of these teams beating Sixers or Celtics. But, I mean, if 76ers go on without Embiid and Jimmy comes back and starts going on a tear again, maybe there's always a chance that something crazy will happen. So it's exciting.
All right, let's move on to the NFL draft. The results, the grades. It's my favorite part, okay? All right. Where do we start? Let's go with our top winners of the NFL draft, okay? I'll start. Steelers number 1. That's not true. They're not number one, but they are the win. They are a winner. The trade up to get their guy, their offensive tackle, is exactly what I wanted them to do. I said it on this podcast. I'm like, if you can't get the tackle, then get Joey Porter Jr. Actually, I said it the other way around. Get Joey Porter Jr. or a tackle. And they got both. I freaking love it. We're feeling good, guys. We're feeling good. They addressed every single one of their needs. I'm just feeling great. All right, who's got the next winner?
I'll go. So I mean, I was not expecting like for it to get like spicy in like the first 10 minutes. I was like, no, seriously. I was like, people were trading up, Will Levis, had that whole thing going on. Called it Anthony Richardson, top 5. Love him to the Colts. I think he'll be good there. And like his little brother, I don't know if you guys watched like the like video messages. So sweet. But anyway, I think the Eagles won. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. You're letting the runner-up to the Super Bowl get those kind of picks. Like, oh God. They are so dangerous now. I don't think, like with Aaron Rodgers now, like with the Jets, I don't even know if like they can even come out of the conference.
I agree. I think, and they got the DeAndre Swift trade, right? Or they traded for him, right?
Oh yeah.
So
right. Yep.
They're definitely stacking up again. They already have their base talent from last year. It's like they're definitely in my book the favorites to win, and they were definitely a winner. But I also think the Seattle Seahawks won. They got the projected best wide receiver, and Jackson Smith, Njigba, can't say his last name, and then they got the cornerback Devon Witherspoon. Both positions they needed, both to help out Geno Smith and getting him another high explosive target to go pair with Tyler Lockett and I can't think of the other guy's name right now.
Metcalf.
Yes, DK Metcalf. My bad. And then they needed help on defense, so that was a good pickup too with Devon Witherspoon. So I think they did a great job at both their picks were the best picks that they could have had, and it just worked out perfectly for them.
It did. They picked Devon Witherspoon, and this all goes back to the line. The rest of that is because Lions were going to pick Devon Witherspoon at number 6. As soon as the Seahawks made that pick, they traded back. They thought, we're going to get Bijan Robinson at 12. Like, we're going to be fine. No. That mistake of a date. They're like, well, what do we do now? Let's just take the second best running back here. So they picked the second best running back in a spot where they could have got him at 18, and they panicked at pick 18 and went with a linebacker that they could have gotten in the second round. It just wasn't a great pick. It wasn't a great draft for them. I think they got the guy that they wanted. They could have gotten them in later picks, and they just kind of panicked. They weren't ready for it. I don't think they're necessarily the loser here, because I don't like the Falcons pick of being at all.
Really?
I didn't like it at all. I think they had plenty of running back. Cordero Patterson. They have Tyler Algier, who played amazing as a backup. Tyler Algier is going to be a third-string running back now. They're not going to use him. They're going to use Bijan most of the time. Cordero Patterson will be a backup. They needed someone to rush the quarterback, and they didn't get it. And I think their defense is still going to struggle.
Yep.
So I don't think they really fixed anything.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I just heard like a lot of people like were in love with like what the Falcons were doing. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I like one of my favorite picks, I told you guys, that Hendon Hooker to the Lions. I like that.
I like that.
I mean, I don't know. Do you know what Jared Goff's like contract is off the top of your head?
It's something like $26 million or something like that. Like it's not bad for a quarterback.
Yeah.
For a top 5 quarterback in the NFC right now.
Yeah. So I mean, a few years underneath Goff, like I think Hooker will be a really like solid quarterback for us. I don't know. The draft was just I didn't watch like the last round. But I mean, from what you've said, Kratz, I mean, you're Steelers. Wait, what? So, do you think they have a chance, like, at all at, like, the Super Bowl, maybe?
No. The reason I say that is because I'm not sold on the quarterback yet. Okay. I think he can develop. He's got everything in place for him, right? So he's either going to be great and he's going to be our franchise quarterback, or we're going to need to look somewhere else next year because we've got the team around him now.
Yeah, that's what I was
No
thinking. They got like this year's testing it out, seeing if the chemistry's there, pieces fit all well together. The year after that, it's okay, do or die, make a good playoff run. If that doesn't happen, then yeah, if it's a quarterback issue, cut him and go for someone else.
Never count Tomlin out though. Hasn't had a losing season.
That is true.
I think he's gotten close, right?
Oh yeah, he came close last year.
Yeah, last year was the
Okay.
Was he 500 last year? Or
Okay,
one over.
Yeah, we were positive 9-8.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta shout out Michigan State, Jaden Reed to the Packers.
So
there you go.
It's a good pick. Good pick.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then everyone's just leaving state now, but it's fine.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's actually a fantastic fit for him, and it's what the Packers needed, and I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities.
He's awesome. I loved watching him last year.
Shout out Michigan State.
Let's go.
Football school for sure,
Oh my god.
and not basketball.
Keeping it up in the Wisconsin area. Want to talk about Milwaukee?
Oh, nice transition.
Oh, good transition.
Thanks.
I honestly completely forgot about it. I forgot to write that one down. So, breaking news, while we're on the podcast here, Mike Budenholzer is out as Milwaukee's coach.
Gone.
I get it. I don't think it was needed. I truly don't. And the reason I say that is because I just think it was a weird circumstance. Giannis got hurt. They weren't ready for it, and they got upset. It happens, right? They won the NBA championship not too long ago. It happens, right? I just think someone wanted to say, like, you were the reason. Like, you were the cause of this. So I think they just threw it all on him. He was the scapegoat, so they fired him.
I agree, and it's tough because from what we heard after the game of his brother passing away, it's like now you're kicking him when he's down. Like, he may have made some poor decisions because he wasn't, thinking of the game at that moment, which is completely fine and understandable. So, I mean, historically, he hasn't been the greatest coach. They did win the championship. He has Giannis, one of the top players in the league, so that obviously helps. In normal circumstances, I think I would have given him another year to see what happens. But at the same time is very precious when you have a star in his prime. So I think they can get a different coach that's a better fit and can elevate the team to the next level. And I'm looking forward to see who they'll replace Budenholzer with.
I think like this was probably brewing a little bit for the past couple years, like on the down low, and him just getting so out-coached by Eric Spoelstra. Like, regardless, they were an 8th seed. The Milwaukee Bucks were the 1st seed. Milwaukee's supposed to win the whole thing. You can't do that, regardless.
Yeah.
Like, if you're talking about those terms, like, you're gonna get fired. Like, the NBA, like, there's so many coaches that could be head coach of the NBA. And I think this is like, they've probably been thinking about this for a while. I mean, he didn't call a timeout when they could have to advance the ball, which, who knows? It could have cost them the series. Really.
Could've.
Who knows? But I think a perfect fit. He just got fired from the Toronto Raptors.
Yep.
Nick Nurse.
Absolutely. I was going to say the same thing. It's a perfect fit. It was a perfect scenario in Toronto. This is a perfect scenario in Milwaukee. I think you can do the same thing there.
I don't think that's a bad pick. I think he's definitely a step up, and we've seen that he can be a good coach for the Raptors during their run. Someone else to consider is they have an assistant coach named Charles Lee. And apparently he's been recruited to be the head coach for a few other teams the past couple of years, and he's turned it down. And if memory serves me correctly, Budenholzer's had a few other assistant coaches go on to be current NBA coaches, such as the Lakers coach right now. I forgot his name. And then there's one other, and there's one other coach I can't remember that was an old Budenholzer assistant. Can't remember who it was. The name will come back to me later. But it's kind of like he has that coaching tree that you see like someone like in the NFL for the Patriots, Bill Belichick has in his sport. So it's kind of interesting to see that play out, and it would be more of a smooth transition to have Charles Lee turn into the head coach, be promoted. He knows the players, he knows the system they've already ran. He can, make his tweaks, improvements, do what he needs to do, and maybe take the team out coach, or at least be better matched to coach with some of the higher level coaches in the league. So those are but Nick Nurse is a top pick.
But also, I just thought about this. The Pistons are looking for a coach. Would Nick Nurse go there?
I would love that.
I would too.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen. No. But
that would be really weird if it did, because that would be two Toronto coaches immediately leaving and then coming to the Pistons. That would be kind of weird if that happened.
Yeah.
Back to back.
That would be really funny, though.
Yeah. We just keep getting them after.
Does anyone else feel like this has Stan Van Gundy's name written all over it?
Oh God, no.
Like this just feels like a Stan Van Gundy to the Bucks thing.
No.
And then they underperform and he gets fired.
No, I don't feel like it's that.
No.
Stan Van Gundy's just a different human. He's just something else. But
I don't know. I just feel like it just feels like something that Stan Van Gundy would love to get his hands into.
It'd be interesting. That's to say the least. There's better options. Nick Nurse, Charles Lee.
Oh, there's absolutely
Frank
better
Vogel.
options.
Like anyone else but Stan Van Gundy.
He's an assistant for the Cavs.
Frank Vogel?
Who?
Yeah. Right?
I'm not sure, actually. I know he was the Lakers head coach.
Yeah, he's assistant
Is he?
somewhere.
Oh,
well, yeah. I think so.
It makes sense.
Really? I didn't know that.
He's not a terrible coach. He's not a bad coach. He won a chip.
I feel like I don't even know. Like the head coaching carousel, that'd be like a good episode of us just like doing like what we would do as like a GM, like those type of episodes,
Yeah.
I think Darvin Ham might be out if the Lakers lose like that quick, just because he does not.
Really?
He's not an X's and O's coach. Like LeBron literally draws up plays.
Yeah, but that's what you need when you have LeBron.
No, exactly. But like I don't know. I've heard like mixed feeling over there. People want Monty Williams out. I don't disagree. I don't agree. I'm kind of just like neutral on that. I don't know. There's a lot that could happen, but I like Nick to the Bucks. I think that's probably like the most likely.
The grass is not always greener.
It's true.
That's all I have to say.
True. That is very
All
true.
right, guys. That's all we got for you this week.
Whoa,
we
no,
got
it's
breaking
not.
news at the end.
No, it's not. We got some Twitter
You're right.
fingers.
You're right. We got Twitter fingers.
Twitter fingers.
All right. It's just one of those days. It feels like I'm not ready today.
No, you're good. You're good. It's the internet. It's the internet.
It's the internet. It's the internet. It's messing with my head too.
Oh my God.
All right, we have a tweet from LeBron. We love to see those, right?
Love them.
I don't know if you guys saw it, if everyone saw it, but when it was him and the Grizzlies going at it, him and Dillon Brooks got into it. LeBron got in Dillon Brooks' head. We all know he did. We don't know what he said, but he got in his head. So after the series was over, after they won, LeBron decided to tweet saying, and I quote, "Unlike you little swearing emoji, I'm a grown-ass man, big shoes to fill, swearing emoji, grown-ass pants, probably hustled with your pops, go ask your parents, with the parent you're staring at a legend who put a few," swearing emoji, "and in they place before, trying to eat without saying they grace before. And then a shushing emoji and a crown emoji.
The king. So this is my first time. I mean, I knew the interaction during the series. This is my first time hearing that tweet, and immediately I think, why is he putting swear emojis, but he's still swearing? That's my first thought. Second thought, Dillon.
He's the king.
You're right. Dillon Brooks is. We were talking about this a little bit before the podcast. The whole Grizzlies team kind of fell apart midseason. Dillon Brooks went from, he's got that fight in him, to what is this guy doing? Why is he acting like an idiot? And now he's not the phrasing was no longer wanted on the team. Something like that. Under any circumstances, he was not to come back. So I'm happy that LeBron said this. I think it's hilarious, this whole saga that happened with Dillon Brooks calling him an old man and that he needs to put up numbers, and then he puts up the numbers and wins. So why would you poke that bear? What an idiot. But I'm excited he tweeted at him. I hope he responds. I don't know if he has. I don't know if he will. And I hope to see Dillon Brooks in China, at least.
The comparisons for him and Dwight Howard in Taiwan to Kobe and Shaq.
Oh my God.
It's phenomenal. It's great. It's great. I love it. I'm here for it.
I would pay to see that, mostly just because of Dwight. and how much Dillon would hate being Taiwan.
There. Yes. Well, I saw a clip, and I don't even know if it's real or if it was for this scenario, but of Shaq and Charles talking about where he's going to go next. And Charles put up like China, and then Shaq's like, "No, it's the Penguin Dragons," or whatever he said. I forgot the name of the team in the city.
Yes.
And I'm like,
that was real.
When I saw that, I'm like, no way, this is happening on live television.
Well, because to put it point blank, Dillon Brooks is not that good to be talking that much shit.
Exactly.
When it comes down to it.
Yep.
I don't know, what happened. I mean, he was kind of like that in Oregon. Kind of just, a big trash talker. But, in college, he was good. He could back it up. But, you can't be talking to LeBron like that and, starting a war with the Lakers.
Yeah.
And then you just, play awful. You're non-existent in the playoffs.
Yeah. His stats.
And then he left. He would talk all this crap, and then he wouldn't show up for media after games. Basically just disappeared because he didn't want to face he was in the wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't think any NBA team will sign him. I don't know, because I don't think they want to have that person in the locker room.
I think he gets, if anything, a 1-year contract. Probably for the vet minimum, would be my guess.
That's crazy.
Which is shocking because in the middle of the season, the Grizzlies offered him a 3-year contract worth $30 million, and he turned it down.
Yeah, he fumbled that bag for sure. I'm looking at his stats right now just because I'm curious. He's averaging 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. So he's not useless.
And what shooting?
It was 40% shooting. So he's not an amazing player by any means. He's not complete garbage. He can still put up at least some numbers. It really comes down to you got to make smarter decisions when you're in the playoffs about what mental games you're about to get into. I'm sure that there's some talk with the players and the coaching of, okay, how are we going to try to get to them mentally? You can't go to LeBron and start poking him when he's been in more playoff series than you've played games this season. There's no comparison. You can't be messing with LeBron like that. So I think you're right. If he gets signed again to an NBA team, which up in the air, it'll be for a very short contract, and he'll have to prove that A, he can still play, and B, that he'll make smart media decisions and not talk crap, basically. Unless he backs it up.
He just needs to grow up.
Yeah.
He just needs to grow up.
That's
as simple as that. He's not a bad player. He's really not. But the way he talks, you would think that he's the second best player in the league right now.
Yeah.
That's how he talks. And
he's nose plays, honestly.
He needs to grow up. You said it.
Also,
I
like,
said
who
it
would
here.
want to
I
play
said
with
it
him
here.
though? Like, if I'm like a superstar and like my team's like, oh, like we could use Dillon Brooks, like
No thanks.
he's a nice role player on the bench. Okay, no, goodbye.
Like we could get
Goodbye.
someone else who puts 15,
You
3 and
know?
3 on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Um,
has a good attitude.
yeah, I completely agree. And I feel like
It feels like Pat Bev, but without like the team chemistry or like like I don't know, like the must win attitude. Like
yeah.
Pat Bev will even go on the media and do the same thing.
Yeah. He'll
Like he won't hide from the
he'll
media.
talk. He's
He's
maybe
not fake.
Yeah, he's
He's
not
not
the
fake.
best player, but he'll talk and then he'll go out and at least put up the effort to show that he can,
Yeah.
And again, that's kind of the mentality thing. He's known for getting in people's heads. So like maybe Dillon Brooks trying to go down that same path, but when you're doing that against LeBron, you probably should start with someone else first. Like don't go over there.
Yep. Yeah, let's poke the bear before the series is over
Yeah.
against one of the best players of all time.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Maybe he's just doing it for attention too. You never know.
Probably.
He wants the likes.
Yeah.
He wants the follows.
Yeah.
All right, now that's all we got for you. We're coming back next week with our top 5 players in all time and our lifetimes in the NBA. And who knows, maybe it leads to an NFL or MLB or something else too.
Yeah.
You never know. But it was a great talking point. We really went off on a tangent there.
Yeah, we went in like outer space for a little bit.
That's all right. Awesome.
All right. See you guys next week.